Are you ready?
Agility from the champion. Oh, deep six! That could be it. Delivers this deep six.
Good evening, everybody. We are live. WWE Survivor Series just ended. My name is Wayne, owner and host of the Aftermath Pro Wrestling Podcast, joined by, we have a special guest tonight, Jacob Walters from Back Sports Page, joining us and filling in tonight. Thank you so much for hopping on. Jacob, how you doing today?
You know, I'm feeling very good. It's snowing over here in Michigan, but it's like I haven't seen it in forever. Luckily, it's like the type of thing that you're thankful to not be driving in because you have a chaperone, but or chauffeur for that matter. So I'm good.
Awesome, man. So speaking of snow, I am traveling up here near the Syracuse area, just a couple minutes north of Syracuse. And let me tell you, last night, traveling from Long Island, about 5 to 6 hours, and I ran in, and here I am, like trying to stay awake because I'm running on 3 hours sleep from the night before, waiting on Black Friday from Friday morning. And I was not only like, I was basically just trying to stay awake. So then once, like, after 4 hours of drive, like, I felt pretty good. The best I've felt the whole entire drive. Then I ran into a snowstorm, the lake effect snowstorm. I've never driven through a lake effect snowstorm before. And it was somewhere between Cortland and Syracuse. If any of you guys are familiar, excuse me. Yeah, so I ran into that snowstorm. I had people tailgating me. It is pitch black out, and this drive like this. It was about like I was probably driving through it for about a good 40 minutes, and then once I got near Syracuse, it calmed down. But that was just wild. I almost had to stop. So that was my little snow experience. It's mid-November, so it wasn't really exactly on my bingo card to be running into a snowstorm in the middle of November, but it is what it is.
Lake effect snow is a thing, so it's really it's an experience for everybody. If you haven't lived in like the Great Lakes area, like Michigan, Ohio, and even like Western New York, you get hammered by it.
Yes, it was no joke driving through that. There are no streetlights up here, upstate New York highways, and I'm sure over by you, maybe it's the same. I don't know, but it was pretty brutal. And on top of that, yeah, people tailgating you like, give me about 5 car lengths, not 2, in the middle of a snowstorm and then being dark out. Unbelievable. It was crazy. It was a wild night driving here in Syracuse, but thank God I'm here and safe and sounds, being able to watch Survivor Series, which is supposed to be one of our major shows of the year. We'll talk about that, but we'll start now. Jacob, what did you think of the overall Survivor Series show tonight?
I'm gonna be 110% honest with you. It really didn't stand out to me. And like the problem with the show was that there wasn't really any wow moments within the show. We were anticipating a potential heel turn. Maybe it was from Jey Uso, maybe it was from, I guess, CM Punk, whoever, but none of that really happened. It was just kind of very bland. I mean, don't get me wrong, there were a couple of exciting like spots and whatnot, but it wasn't. I just felt like it didn't stand out to me, and I think that's the big problem with the Survivor Series is that you can't really pinpoint a moment to where there was a particular match that was outstanding. So
I 100% agree. I mean, this could very well be one of those post shows that could be very short if we wanted it to be, or it could be very long. But yeah, to your point, it was not. It's like I I was waiting for the big moment, and it didn't happen. I was waiting for something. We didn't get the heel turns in the woman any heel turn in the woman war game match. They really teased at the end. We'll talk more about it, but they really teased like something big at the end. And what happened last tonight at the end of Survivor Series was kind of planting the seeds of what a preview of what we're gonna get at WrestleMania 42 season, where I believe Roman's gonna choose one of Punk or Cody, and that will be our WrestleMania match, and we'll talk more about that a little later. But in a sense, like we had an appearance when Liv Morgan came back, and that was kind of sort of predictable. We knew she was coming back very soon. So great. I was happy, but not like it wasn't anything shocking. There was so to your point, there was really nothing buzzworthy that really came out of tonight. And then we're just getting a continuous slow burn build up to WrestleMania. That's what it looks like between Roman, Punk, and Cody.
Yeah, and I think that will definitely be the focal point is between Punk and Cody and Roman. You even saw some tension between Cody and Roman when Roman inadvertently elbowed him. Like that, you're gonna see that a lot more often as the tension kind of builds. So,
yeah, absolutely. Was it a great show? No. Was it a bad show? No, not by any means. I feel like out of a 1 through 10, I'm gonna give it a 6 tonight. But otherwise, it was a decent show, and but at the same time, it was lacking. And I'm gonna. Did you, by any chance, watch AEW Blood and Guts?
I don't think I did. I was probably doing some late night work and I didn't get a chance to catch that. So,
Okay, so we're not gonna analyze that or anything, but I'm gonna bring up AEW Blood and Guts later on. But for those of you guys that are watching, please feel free to join us, leave comments, and join in on the conversation. We would love to hear what you guys want to talk about tonight. We want to hear what you guys thought about Survivor Series. We are sponsored by Back Sports Page. Jacob is from Back Sports Page. Be sure to go on www.backsportspage.com. In fact, I will post it up for you to get your latest reviews, interviews. If you're a big Giants fan, you can check out the Big Blue Report. If you're a wrestling fan, you have us, the Aftermath Pro Wrestling Podcast, and the Cut Pro Wrestling Podcast to check out some of the latest interviews of independent wrestling stars, past and present. So be sure to check that out. www.backsportspage.com. Check them out. And there it is, right there. Backsportspage.com. Anyway, so we are going to talk about the first match tonight, the women's War Games match. Again, nothing eventful in this match. There were some cool spots. There, we had some not newsworthy stuff, but excuse me. Okay, I had the soda, Coke Zero. Yeah. Anyway,
Coke Zero.
There were some cool spots. Nothing big and newsworthy that happened in this match here. But we had Charlotte, Alexa Bliss. We had AJ, Io, and Rhea versus Nia Jax, Kairi Sane, Asuka, Lash Legend, and Becky Lynch. Lash Legend showing up on her first PLE. I believe this was her first official match since joining the SmackDown roster. She has been on SmackDown TV before in a match, but since officially being called up, they made note of that. And I want to say she looked great and had a strong showing here. She was highlighted for a couple moments upon her entrance into the ring. But we see the match started with Asuka versus Charlotte. So I thought we had a good couple minutes here of them going back and forth. whenever you have them two in the ring, it was kind of like a flashback to WrestleMania 34 when I think Asuka should have won. But
Yeah.
Charlotte, I think, beat her undefeated streak or something like that, or she was undefeated at the time. Charlotte won. But anyway, so that kind of like sparked that memory there for me. But we had a good interaction there. And it was a good showing between them. And then Io Sky had a good offensive showing when she came in too. She looked great tonight, although there was one botch spot that we got from her. They sort of recovered it, but it is what it is. It was easy to overlook because Io did other stuff later on in the match. So kind of forgot about that. But when we finally got the garbage can spot from Io, that all made up for it. But so then there was a storyline between Charlotte and Rhea, with trust issues, and then we see Charlotte proving her loyalty by saving Rhea from getting misted in the face. So Asuka then misted Lash Legend by accident. So that was kind of like the turn in the match. Io did the Swanton, which was good with the trash can overhead off the top of the cage. We see AJ Lee tap out Becky Lynch. Maybe we get AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch one-on-one match finally. Maybe Saturday night's main event, if I had to guess. She wins with the Black Widow, wins the match for her team. Jacob, what did you think of this women's match, and any points that you may have liked in the match that I didn't mention?
I thought this was an okay match. It wasn't. It wasn't. Again, the problem with the pay-per-view overall was that it didn't stand out too much. I thought that AJ Lee and Becky Lynch had some good spots. I thought that Nia Jax was good here. So like really good. But other than that, it was a match that, it was kind of I don't know. Words can't really describe it, but it wasn't really the most exciting. I thought the other match was really better. So
yeah, and you kind of had the feeling, for the most of the night that this match was just kind of there. And also, I wanted to bring up the fact that I'm thinking about because I watched AEW's Dynamite from 3 weeks ago, and like their War Games match, they call it Blood and Guts, and then they got the roof on, so that's really the only big differences. Was more barbaric. Their women were bleeding within 10 seconds. And it was spot after spot all night. And
AEW always does that though.
But you know what? They always do that. But I feel like it was like that. That's like an appropriate, that's the appropriate match to do spot after spot after spot, and blood and all that stuff. And then I'm thinking to myself, like and both AEW's Blood and Guts, their men and their women matches. If those guys are watching, don't watch AEW, check that match out, and you'll see what I'm talking about. That the AEW the Blood and Guts match was barbaric, and then tonight, I'm thinking to myself, like WWE's got to follow this up. Like they got to somehow follow this up, because I felt like their War Games match was really good, and I feel like the only difference is though, I'm more invested in the WWE characters in this War Games as opposed to the characters that AEW puts out. But in all fairness, though, I have to say the AEW Blood and Guts match was for the women was a lot better than the women of the War Games match tonight.
And I do agree, and I think that
it was some good storytelling too.
Yeah, great storytelling too. And I mentioned that too in the article earlier this week about how when you look at the older Survivor Series matches, you see all sorts of characters and all sorts of unique personalities. That's what made WWE so special back in the day, like with the Bushwhackers, with the Ultimate Warrior. Like watching the 1989 version was amazing. So like I didn't really see that. I saw a little bit more of that with the Stephanie Vaquer and Nikki Bella, sort of matchup. Great matchup, by the way. Much better than the first one, I will say.
Yeah. Again, I mean, there were a couple cool things that happened in this match, but I feel like in the war games match itself, like I just felt like it needed to be a little bit more barbaric tonight, and we didn't get that. We did not get that. There was a very very low usage of weapons in the match. Yeah, they did bring a trash can lid and a kendo stick, and then a table came out in the later match, which we'll get into. But I felt like it could have been a little bit more barbaric and intense, and I compared it to a couple of the prior War Games matches. I think this was, although again it was very watchable. I'm not saying it wasn't watchable, but I felt like a couple of the prior War Games matches we got was a little bit more eventful and enjoyable to watch.
Absolutely. And I agree with that.
Moving on, we are going to start talking John Cena versus Dominic Mysterio, and you brought it up before the broadcast. We were talking about this, that this was probably the match of the night, and probably out of all the matches, the most I guess you could say buzzworthy. I guess like the one match that's probably worth more talking about than any other match that we had. But we see John Cena talking about defending against Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental title match in Dominic Mysterio's hometown of San Diego. And you kind of had the feeling that Dominic was probably going to get the win back here, considering that John Cena is on his way out. Dominic Mysterio is definitely loved backstage and being pushed, and is going to be more of a major star going forward over the next 5 years or less. And he's steadily becoming one of the main fixtures of WWE right now, and in my opinion he's just right about there. So having said that, John Cena, I felt this was the right move to give Dominic Mysterio his win back upon John Cena leaving WWE. And it all kind of lines up to what we think is going to happen next, because I don't think John Cena is going to lose his last match now. And it had John Cena lost tonight, then I would have said that, you know what, John Cena is dropping that gold on his way out the door on his last match. Then that person that beats him can say, I retired John Cena. But again, getting back to tonight, I felt like the right move was made here. John Cena loses the title to Dominic Mysterio. What did you think of this match before I give the match rundown?
I thought this match was excellent, was good. I thought that there were some very good spots here, obviously with Dominic Mysterio playing possum, and then Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez going in and feeding on the carcass of John Cena was excellent. Also coming in and seeing Liv Morgan later on and just coming in and just hitting a low blow on Cena and playing like everybody was amazing. So as we talked about earlier, this was the match of the night easily, just because of how it played out. Like, this was probably one of Dominic Mysterio's finer works that we've seen.
Dominic, so for a second, Dominic may have had me. Okay. The referee was checking on him. You see Roxanne and Raquel in the corner, all concerned. But then I'm like, wait a minute. Dominic Mysterio landed just fine. He did not land awkward. I'm looking at the instant replay. He did not land awkwardly. He did not land like Penta may have landed on Monday, or how Punk or Liv Morgan may have landed when they injured their shoulders. Like, he just didn't. He landed clean. I'm like, there's no way he's injured. Like that. This is what I'm starting to think. And it took me a couple of seconds to get there. As soon as I came to the realization, talking to my buddy Justin, who was watching this with me, as soon as I came to that realization, like, I think this is a ruse, because it didn't look like he landed like bad in any way. Then we see Roxanne and Raquel attack John Cena from behind
Oh
with
my
the pop
gosh.
rocks, and Raquel with that slam that the Tejada slam, Tejada bomb, whatever you want to call it. And then I knew, I was like, this is a ruse. I'm like, and I was all for it. Then we see the two girls get thrown out. Again, I mentioned, like, I wonder if we get Liv Morgan here. Sure enough, later in the match, Liv Morgan's music goes off. And then we get Liv Morgan. And I loved how, like, she got up, she slapped Dominic. I'm like, okay. And then she hugging John Cena, and kind of like what AJ Lee used to do. And but what really did it for me, like what sold it for me, and like where it really turned, was the look on Liv Morgan's face when that maniacal, sinister, evil look showed up, and the camera caught that perfect. And
Do
then
you
I knew.
remember? I was gonna say, do you remember that was a lot similar to what happened, I believe, at Elimination Chamber with John Cena and Cody Rhodes? So much similar.
Yes. And when I saw that look, I'm like, oh boy. And then we see Liv Morgan turn, kicking John Cena and giving him the low blow. And then oh boy, it totally reminded me of the Cena. That was definitely they purposely and intendedly, that was intended for sure. But then we see Judgment Day interfere. We got all that. John Cena hit JD and Finn Balor in the match with the attitude adjustments. We got all that. And this was just prior to Liv coming out. And then we see the 619 by Dominic Mysterio following Liv Morgan kicking John Cena when he was on the ground. Dominic Mysterio gives a 619 and a frog splash for the win. New Intercontinental Champion. This is definitely, without a doubt, Dominic Mysterio's biggest career win here, regardless of how it happened. But Dominic gets the major rub here, without a doubt.
Absolutely. And you know what? The match overall was convincing. Like the referee going in and not doing the count after Mysterio was like faking an injury the entire time was amazing in itself. And also Liv Morgan coming in and just completely psyching out the crowd. Yes, that was a great spot with not counting the 3 for Dom. Absolutely. Such a great spot. And I don't think that gets enough love and appreciation from the night.
Yeah. So Dominic's our new Intercontinental Champion. Where we go with Dominic next, I believe eventually, I believe they're in a process of building up the next Dominic versus Rey Mysterio match, which I believe we could probably see a Saturday Night's main event or Royal Rumble.
I can see that.
Which would be, it'd be pretty cool to see them two work. I was honestly expecting to see Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio in San Diego. But I don't know if there was a plan change. I don't know if this was the original plan with John Cena. But either way, Dominic wins in his hometown. Mysterio was represented tonight. And yeah. How did you feel about the crowd reactions tonight? Like it's so we got to keep in mind that Survivor Series was outdoors in an open air stadium. Obviously, there's no roof. All the sounds of the cheers is going to kind of escape. So you're not going to hear the crowd at its true level unless you're really there. But did you feel like the crowd was into it for a good part of the night? What do you think?
I felt that they were kind of in this particular match. I felt they were kind of slanted towards John Cena just because he's the big guy. He's the greatest of all time, and obviously this is his farewell tour. You want to give him a good you want to give him a good reception after he leaves, and I think that they were all in on Cena. There was a little bit of love for Dominic Mysterio, but I think mostly just because of the significance of John Cena's farewell tour, that kind of was overriding everything. So,
yes, John Cena was definitely heavily favored, and Dominic Mysterio was cheered too as well when he came out, for sure. But John Cena still being the heavy favorite to this crowd. I heard there was news being reported that the last couple weeks that an excessive number of more amount of tickets were sold for tonight's WWE Survivor Series. And a lot of that's due to the fact that John Cena's farewell tour, but they drew over 46,000 people, which is the largest attended and actually, this is the first stadium show for WWE Survivor Series in the 39 years that they've been doing this.
Oh yeah, and it was very interesting. It was an interesting vibe to say the least, and I think that was brought up with this particular match, just based on how everybody was feeling. Like everybody was really invested in Cena versus Mysterio.
Yeah. I would say like this is probably the match that I was probably more invested in than any one of them tonight. Like overall as a match, I was invested in this match, but I was also expecting certain moments to happen tonight, more so on the women's side that we just did not get. But moving on. We won't sit on this match too long, but we had Nikki Bella challenging Stephanie Vaquer for Stephanie's Women's World Heavyweight Championship. Again, this match was kind of just there. For Nikki Bella match, it was, pretty decent. I felt like Stephanie was carrying that as best as she could. We had a couple, cool highlights out of that. But we see Stephanie Vaquer winning with 2 straight Devil's Kisses tonight. Everybody loves the Devil's Kiss. You got the Devil's Kiss.
Oh, yeah.
Stephanie giving it to Nikki Bella on the announce table. I love the announcers, how they say Michael Cole and Wade Barrett saying to each other, don't say anything. They keep the comments down. Like, oh boy. And then, we see Stephanie Vaquer giving Nikki Bella the Devil's Kiss again, followed by her corkscrew moonsault as her finisher to finish off Nikki Bella tonight. Stephanie Vaquer retains her World Heavyweight Championship. What did you think about this match?
So remember when I talked about that other match when we were talking about the first War Games between Charlotte and all them? This is the match I was talking about that was better.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, Stephanie carried that match. This was basically one of her better works, and she was doing everything in her power to just put on good spots. It was not just the Devil's Kisses, which I know is like every guy's like wet dream, but it was also like the corkscrew splash. It was also on the table. Like this wasn't the best match just because it had to follow like Cena and Mysterio, but it still was the better women's match tonight.
Really?
I think so. I think that Vaquer has done some great work this year.
Yes, Stephanie Vaquer has done some great work. I wouldn't say this was my favorite Stephanie Vaquer match. And the reason why I say that is just because of her dance partner. I feel like, imagine if we had Booker T would have lost it tonight. A comment right there. Booker T would have lost it tonight. Absolutely would have lost it.
He would have gone crazy.
But I feel like we definitely could have, like, had you had somebody like Julia in there, like a Becky Lynch, maybe like an AJ, an Asuka, Charlotte, even Tiffany Stratton brought out a better match with Stephanie Vaquer. I just feel like you could have given Stephanie Vaquer a better dance partner tonight. I think we would have really saw like an even better women's match for sure.
I agree.
Stephanie Vaquer looks good regardless. I just think you could have given her a better dance partner on the stage, like Survivor Series, one of your main 4 pay-per-views.
Oh yeah, and I think that it just is a testament to her kind of work, is that she can work well and make almost anybody look good. And even if it's like Nikki Bella or Brie Bella, whoever it is, she knows how to make them look better. And for tonight, it was Nikki Bella, who wasn't the best, but Stephanie made it happen.
And this program goes to show that wins and losses don't even matter to WWE. Because you could have had somebody like Roxanne in there. Basically, Nikki Bella just earns her match. She lost a bunch of matches before coming into this match tonight. She earned this match because she attacked Stephanie. How does that make booking sense? How am I supposed to believe that you're going to beat Stephanie Vaquer going into this match when you've lost a bunch of matches, haven't done anything to earn the match, and you only earn the match because you attacked Stephanie. Stephanie's pissed off, and now she wants to fight you.
Exactly. It doesn't make a whole ton of sense to me. So
WWE has got to do a better job heating up their talent and giving them some wins before placing them in a WWE title match, because that just makes more sense.
Exactly.
Those of you guys that are watching, my name is Wayne, owner and host of the Aftermath Pro Wrestling Podcast, joined by Back Sports Page Jacob Walters, joining me tonight for this live post show. Those of you guys that are watching or will be watching, be sure to like, share, comment, and we want to hear what you guys have to say about tonight's WWE Survivor Series. Moving on to the main event, we are going to get the men's war game match. My internet is a little wonky on my end, so hang tight with us. Okay. The main event. We had Division. We had Logan Paul, Brock Lesnar, and Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, and Jimmy Uso. Michael Cole presenting this match to us as if this is an all-star game, which, yeah, you basically can say it was basically an all-star match. You had a lot of like the main talent for the men, 3 of which were on one side, and you had Logan Paul. You have 2 big up and comers. You have Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre. So definitely some very, very good teams assembled here. This match again was dubbed as an all-star match. Cody had quite the entrance tonight. You see him jumping off the cage because he wasn't being let in, so he had to climb and then jump off the cage. And there was a little dissension with Cody Rhodes and Punk too as well, with Cody giving Punk a little bit of an elbow there. So that quickly got squashed. So that, was obviously an accident. We finally got blood in a War Games match.
Yes.
We finally got blood.
Yes.
I don't know why, but WWE hates blood. Come on. This is War Games. This is supposed to be barbaric.
It's funny because you see the contrast between AEW and WWE. Like AEW is like, hey, blood, Sure, why not? We'll just throw it randomly in a match. WWE is a lot more conservative in that sense, and I think if they at least try to put a little bit more into it, then it'll be like a little bit more fun. Like, let's be honest.
We saw Bronson Reed shining a little bit early upon his entrance in the ring, basically giving everybody a tsunami of whoever was in the ring at that moment. The Usos shined a little bit too once Jey Uso came in. They were throwing super kicks everywhere to everybody on the other side of the on the other team, and then you see Jey Uso's music playing, and then Jey climbs up the cage and then starts eating. So that's going on for like 2 minutes or so. And then that quickly gets interrupted by Brock Lesnar's song, which I thought was pretty funny. Let me see what I got here. They also make note that this is the first time Brock Lesnar has teamed with anybody, which I kind of find it hard to believe, but this is the first time Brock Lesnar has teamed with anybody since 2004. Michael Cole makes note of. I feel like I want to fact check Michael Cole on that, but he may very well be right because I can't think of many scenarios where he teams up with other people. But Lesnar came in. He cleaned house. How did you feel about Lesnar tonight?
Lesnar did Lesnar things, and I think that's what he's good at. He's just good at being the dominant figure, going and giving a couple F5s, maybe a few suplexes here and there. Like, that's Brock Lesnar's thing, and he's meant to be like the big bad. He's always been meant to be the big bad. I never really took him seriously as a babyface for whatever reason. So I think that this was more of his wheelhouse, him coming in, delivering F5s, and just dominating everybody. I think that this was sort of his game tonight.
So we see Roman Reigns. He enters the arena tonight, and we see Lesnar get out of the cage. And technically, he's allowed. The match hasn't even officially started yet. But we see Lesnar getting out of the cage on the outside of the ringside, waiting for him at the top of the entrance as Roman's coming out. Then you see Roman give Brock Lesnar multiple Superman punches. Then Lesnar rebounds with an F5 onto the announce table on the outside. So that's how that happens. Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns eventually get into the ring. The match starts. Later on, we get a table spot by Brock Lesnar spearing. Lesnar. Hold on. Did Lesnar get the spear? Yeah, Lesnar got speared. Was I correct on that? Got speared by Roman. Yeah, that Slim Jim table, which was waiting there for like 20 minutes. Lesnar gets speared because Lesnar was in the process of getting Jey Uso up in the F5, and then we see Roman Reigns spear Lesnar through the table. But here's the main thing of the night. Out of this, this is the, I guess if you want to call it, the buzzworthy moment. We see the mystery man come in, and he scales up the cage, gets in the ring, and does a curb stomp. He does the kick to Punk, like a super kick, as Punk was knelt down on the ground. Then we get the curb stomp onto Punk. Braun Breaker takes advantage and spears Punk for the win. Now, this mystery man, a friend of mine would say it's Randy Orton. Like, no, it's not Randy Orton. He would have not scaled up the cage that quick. No way. People may be thinking that it's Seth Rollins. Even the announcers were mentioning Seth Rollins' name. But one, he's injured. I was possibly thinking the mystery man. And again, he was doing the same moves as Seth Rollins with the kick and kind of had the same stature in a way. He gets out of it. We don't find out who this mystery man is. And I have a feeling that this mystery man is going to probably show up a couple times before he reveals himself. maybe it lasts 1 or 2 more shows and we finally find out who it is. But you want to know who I think it is?
Who do you think it is?
One of 2 people. Drum roll. Austin Theory or Grayson Waller. I'm actually I want to say the statue looked like Grayson Waller, but he's been kind of doing some work with New Day, so maybe it might be, maybe not. Where's Austin Theory been? Guy looked like kind of like the size of Austin Theory. No doubt in my mind, Austin Theory could probably scale up that cage quick as well. I think it could have very well been him. We haven't seen him in a long time. I knew it wasn't Edge. I mean, Edge was probably in the back of somebody's mind while they were watching this. Like, there's no way Edge is getting up the cage that fast. Not happening.
No. Not at all.
The match
wouldn't it
ends...
have been funny?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Wouldn't it have been funny if it was actually like Jericho the entire time, just for shits and giggles?
I mean,
it would have been so dumb, and I don't think it would have made sense. But
the only reason, like, I feel like it's got to be somebody who's a younger guy, just the way that he got up in the cage and the way he got down quick. He was up and over quick. So that's I kind of rule out all the old people. I rule out Randy Orton too as well. It's definitely somebody young. It's definitely somebody young and somebody that is going to be, probably become a part of the division at some point. And I feel like it's probably going to be like Austin Theory, Grayson Waller. Maybe I'm leading a little, like, I'm just a little bit over the 50% mark that it's probably Austin Theory, So I think that's who it is. And we're just kind of get a little bit of a build to that. But the end of the match happens. You see Roman Reigns. He looks dejected. He gets in the ring, standing over Punk and Cody. I don't know if you noticed this the last couple of weeks, but you have your 2 main world champions, Punk and Cody, right now. Yet Roman Reigns has outshined them based off the way the shows of in Boston and Madison Square Garden ended. Roman Reigns to the save. It should be a main WWE champion making the save there. I'm sorry. But Roman Reigns has outshined the way he's been positioned the past couple of weeks has outshined your champions. Not too sure if I'm a huge fan of that, unless there's a purpose to that. He helps up CM Punk, looks over to Cody, and Cody just kind of gets up. He was a little slower to help up Cody, but Cody gets up, looking at Roman Reigns, a little angry there. And then you see the 3 of them. You see Cody wrote CM Punk in between Cody and Roman Reigns, the 2 of them looking at each other, Punk in the middle. And then you see Roman Reigns saying to Cody, this is the last time we're teaming up together. So, my question is to you, where do we go from here? Because I feel like right then and there, I thought maybe there was going to be maybe somebody turning on somebody after that was happening, but that's where the show cut off. Where do we go from there? Because I feel like over the last week or so, they're intentionally planting the seeds of the rest of this year's WrestleMania main event. And I have a feeling we're going to be going Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. I just, again, it looks like a fan could state a case and would have a very, very legit case that we're gonna go Punk versus CM Punk versus Roman Reigns for the main event, just how that ended. But I'm thinking I don't think we're gonna get Roman Reigns versus Cody 3. Unless there's maybe like a purpose to it. I don't know. I just not sure if we're gonna get that. I have a feeling they're planting seeds, and eventually we're gonna get to Roman versus Punk. Punk and Cody are gonna be your 2 main champions by Royal Rumble. Roman wins, has to choose, and I think that's how we get to a Roman Punk. What do you think? Where are we going with this?
I I am in agreement with you on this. I think there'll probably be just a Roman and CM Punk program per se, just because, and even like maybe Cody gets involved in some capacity, but I'm a little bit more skeptical on that. But I think what we're going to be is just the seeds being planted for a WrestleMania main event where you see Reigns versus Punk. I don't know, maybe Reigns versus Rhodes if they wanted to do a rubber match, but I would probably say it's more likely going to be Punk versus Reigns.
I mean, listen, if they're going to go Reigns versus Cody Rhodes 3 at WrestleMania, there's got to be a different dynamic to it. And I think that dynamic is somehow you turn Cody Rhodes heel going into the program. There's got to be a dynamic to it. You basically had Cody Rhodes as a good guy twice, chasing Roman Reigns both times. There's got to be the dynamic of Roman Reigns chasing Cody Rhodes and Cody probably turning heel. Whether that pans out to Cody dropping the belt to Reigns, I don't know. But if you're going to do Cody Reigns, I think that's how you got to book it. You got to give it a different dynamic for sure. We have a comment here. Last WWE tag match for Brock Lesnar was February 2004. I wonder what that match was. And I thought February 2004 was... That must have been like on the SmackDown because I feel like Eddie Guerrero, when he beat Lesnar at the Cow Palace, I feel like it was around that time, February, March. His last tag match in general was New Japan 2006. So good comment there. Thank you. And what else we got here? We did have a tag match with Cody a few years ago, but I guess they aren't counted that since that's when they... Interesting. Okay. Oh yeah, you know what? That wasn't even like that. That match didn't even start. And then what else we got here? My internet's so slow here, but anyway, I think we're gonna be. It's very well. I mean, it looks like it's leaning more towards Cody Reigns, but I have a feeling like it's going to be somehow Reigns Punk. Going into WrestleMania, you know they're going to try to get that match in for sure. The other thing absolutely. Too is, could we get a triple threat?
You know what?
Could we get a triple threat? I just honestly don't know if it would make sense where both Roman and Cody have to defend, like maybe like in a winner take all. Could we get that? I really like it. It looks like like the way that they presented this tonight and the way they presented this on Monday night. Could they be going triple threat? But I have the 2 world title holders in one match for. That's the only thing that I'm seeing there. I don't know that you would have that unless you're trying to do like a winner take all kind of scenario. But so that's just like, I don't think that's happening. But yeah. So that basically wraps up the men's war game match. Where do we go from here in general? After what you saw tonight, where do we go with the women? Where do we go with the men?
Honestly, I'll start with the Cody and Punk angles. I think that's gonna escalate. It's probably gonna be a fever pitch all the way up to WrestleMania, where we have one of the two. Maybe we get a triple threat if one of them loses the belt, or if it's a unification. But I think that's gonna be built up to a fever pitch, and that's just everything getting set up for a main event at WrestleMania. So.
Yeah, the WrestleMania main event at the very least is going to consist of Roman Reigns versus Punk or Cody for sure. They've clearly made that. Now let's just say, okay, they do Roman Reigns Punk because we haven't seen that match. We've already seen Roman Reigns versus Cody twice. Maybe we get somebody that we're not even thinking about right now as Cody's opponent. Somebody was, I mean, you could have Braun Breaker in the mix somehow there if you're going to do Roman Cody. But if you could do Roman Punk, obviously you need somebody for Cody. And I'm thinking they bring in somebody we're not even talking about. And what I mean by that is somebody from NXT, like Oba Fenby coming in and debuting and winning the Royal Rumble. So that's just like a kind of like a dark horse prediction of mine. But I feel like that's where we're going there. We got the return of Liv Morgan tonight. So as far as Liv Morgan goes, I would fully expect she's back with Dominic, but starting Monday and moving forward, we're gonna start seeing some dissension there with Raquel and Roxanne for sure. Where we go with Judgment Day as far as Dominic stands with Finn Balor and JD McDonough, I feel like they've been kind of teasing that. Dissension in a way, kind of very subtle. So, let's see if Judgment Day lasts through WrestleMania season with that. But other than that, like I really have nothing else to really cover as far as everything's just kind of like we got Charlotte. She's going to be in the mix. Where's Tiffany Stratton been? And she, I would expect her to come back by the Royal Rumble, and that's really like our next big show. Gunther's clearly going to win the tournament and face John Cena. John Cena is going to win that at Saturday night's main event. Those tickets minimum were about $400 on SeatGeek for a high seat up in the nosebleeds.
Jesus. Crazy.
Listen, I do not mind dropping $400 on a wrestling show, but not for a 2-hour show that's live and sitting in the last row. Not going to happen. That's like Mania prices right there. Comment: I'm curious with Liv Roxy because Liv was getting jealous of Roxy when she got hurt, and Liv wins Rumble and beats Stephanie at Mania. Very possible. I would say Liv Morgan's probably going to be your Rumble winner this year, but don't count out Roxanne. She went the distance last year, and I believe she was she came in the Rumble early too. She may have been like the first 2 or 3 participants in the Women's Rumble last year. She lasted all the way near to the end. So they may piggyback off of that and have Roxanne win. But I feel like, Tim, you're right. We're probably going to be getting Liv Morgan as your Royal Rumble winner for sure. And Roman for the men, unless they have like a different plan where to make a new star right away and to face Cody. Who knows? But where we go from here, what's next is Saturday night's main event in 2 weeks. Again, John Cena's last show and he'll be more than likely from what I see against Gunther. So I'm excited for that. We know John Cena he's not losing his last match, but if John Cena loses on the way out, it wouldn't be such a bad thing just because Gunther could then move on the next 6 months and be the guy that says, I retired John Cena, and you kind of give him something to talk about and piggyback off of the next few months, and then whatever you decide to do with him. People have had rumored that quite possibly could get Gunther and Lesnar, so who knows where they're going to go with Gunther. But that is in 2 weeks. Excited for that. Jacob, do you have any? Let me see. What do we got here? Bryn beats Cody. Braun Breaker beats Cody at Mania. It's possible. It's possible. I mean, again, if you're going Roman Reigns versus Punk, you need something. You need something to do for Cody. So Braun Breaker could definitely be could get his match here because again, they are positioning Braun Breaker and like Bronson Reed, those guys to be the main guys, the main heels moving forward. They're going to slap the title on Braun Breaker, and I feel like they're going to do it sometime next year. Not too sure if Mania is the time that they do it, but it has been noted internally that WWE wants to make sure it's on a good stage for Braun Breaker when he does win, if they're going to make Braun Breaker the main guy. So that's very possible. That's very, very possible with Braun Breaker being the guy to win Royal Rumble than to possibly face Cody at Mania. It's very possible. I'm not going to rule that out because, again, if you're going to go Reigns Punk, you need something to do for Cody Rhodes. So, because right now I can't think of anything that you do with Cody Rhodes. I just don't know what the plan is for him yet. So,
pretty much. So,
but yeah, we're getting into a very exciting season. December is going to be kind of a lull. We might have something to talk about for Saturday night's main event, but December is going to be a little bit of a lull. Some of the shows are going to be taped. Some will be live because Triple H loves to give days off to the wrestlers surrounding Christmas and New Year's, rightfully so. So some of those shows are going to be taped, especially the SmackDowns. But then I believe we start heating up very quickly and gradually once we get towards Royal Rumble. So I'll be very excited around that time for sure. But alrighty, guys. Those of you guys that are watching, thank you so much for hopping in tonight and commenting. We will tentatively be back on Monday. Me and Brandon Bash will probably be back Monday. It all depends on when I return from Quebec City to the place of stay. And if I can watch Raw on time, then we will be back with a show Monday night. If not, we will discuss Monday Night Raw a little bit later in the week. Also, be on the lookout for a couple action figure reveals of some videos I'm about to make. Those are going to pop up very soon on the YouTube channel, so be on the lookout for that. That's coming at you guys soon. Jacob, thank you so much for hopping on relatively last minute. Jacob from Back Sports Page, literally last minute, finding out that he was going to be on this show just before the main event tonight, as one of our guys could not make it on. So thank you so much for filling in and helping out the Aftermath Pro Wrestling podcast and part of the Back Sports Page team. So thank you so much. Appreciate it. Those of you guys that are watching, thank you so much. And we will see you guys, if not Monday, at some point next week. Catch you guys later.
Agility from the champion. Oh, G6! That could be a delivery.